Hey everyone, and welcome back to G Fun Facts Online. Today, we're diving deep into something that's powering the AI revolution you're hearing so much about. Large language models, or LLMs. Think ChatGPT, think Bard, think all those amazing AI tools that can write, translate, and even code. But have you ever stopped to wonder what fuels these digital brains? It's data, tons and tons of data, and how we gather and manage that data? Well, that's where things get really interesting and incredibly important. We're talking about ethical AI data curation, and trust me, it's a game changer for making sure these powerful AIs are forces for good. So picture this. An LLM is like a student learning from a massive library. If that library is full of books that are, say, subtly biased against certain groups, what do you think the student learns? Exactly, it learns those biases. And when that LLM starts generating text or making decisions, it can unintentionally spread those prejudices. Imagine an AI used for job screening unfairly favoring one group over another, all because its training data was skewed. Not good, right? That's why a huge part of ethical data curation is fighting bias. Scientists are working on creating balanced data sets, like making sure the library has books from all sorts of authors and perspectives. They're even building special algorithms to sniff out bias and fine-tuning these models with fairness in mind. It's like giving the student a special pair of glasses to see and correct those biases, and having diverse teams building these AIs. Super crucial, because more eyes from different backgrounds mean a better chance of spotting these sneaky biases. All right, next up, privacy. This is a big one. LLMs learn by reading mind-boggling amounts of text, often scraped from the internet. Think about all the stuff online. Personal blogs, forum posts, copyrighted articles. What if your private information, or something you wrote and own, ends up in that training data without you even knowing? That's a major concern. These models could accidentally spit out sensitive details or even be prodded to reveal them. So how do we tackle this? Well, responsible data collection is key. Think robust anonymization, like redacting names and personal details from the data. Clear rules about how data is used are essential, and respecting data protection laws like GDPR is a must. Plus, giving people the option to say, hey, don't use my data, is a pretty important step forward. Now let's talk about the sheer amount of data. We're not talking gigabytes, we're talking petabytes, exabytes. Managing this digital ocean is a colossal task. Old school methods just don't cut it. And if we're not careful, this can lead to all sorts of ethical and legal headaches. We need to be super careful about filtering out the junk, low-quality information, irrelevant stuff, and especially harmful content. Think toxic language, discriminatory ideas, or even instructions for creating misinformation. Nobody wants an AI trained on *that. One cool technique is using guardrail models. Imagine these as sophisticated filters, or even a friendly guide that helps the main LLM avoid learning or saying harmful things. It's like having a bouncer for the LLM's training data club, only letting the good stuff in. Okay, so we're trying to make AI fair and private? But what about understanding how it makes decisions? Many LLMs are like black boxes. Data goes in, answers come out, but the process in between is a bit of a mystery. This makes it really tricky when things go wrong. If an AI gives a biased answer, who's responsible? How do we fix it if we don't know why it happened? This is where transparency and accountability come in. It's super important to document where the training data came from, what it contains, and even when it was collected. Think of it like a food label for AI data. You want to know the ingredients? Things like the EU AI Act are pushing for this, demanding more clarity on data sources, which is a big step in the right direction. The quality of the ingredients matters, right? Same for AI. For an LLM to be truly useful and fair to everyone, it needs to learn from diverse and high-quality data. If it only learns from, say, English text from one country, it's not going to be very good at understanding other languages or cultural nuances. The goal is to build models that work well for everyone, everywhere. But getting access to high-quality, diverse data, especially for less common languages, is a real challenge. And relying too much on whatever's floating around on the internet means you might scoop up a lot of low-quality or even nasty stuff. So advanced filtering techniques and really ethical data collection practices are vital to boost both data quality and how robust the model is. Here's another tricky one: intellectual property. LLMs learn by reading millions of web pages, books, articles, and a lot of that material is copyrighted. So, what happens when an LLM generates text that sounds suspiciously like something it read from a copyrighted source? Is that infringement? It's a complex legal puzzle. People are working on creating frameworks for using openly licensed data, data that creators have explicitly allowed for reuse. And there are discussions about how to fairly compensate creators whose work helps train these powerful models. It's all about finding that balance. And finally, something that might not immediately come to mind when you think about data: the environment. Training these massive LLMs takes a huge JAMA amount of computing power. And more computing power means more energy consumption, which means a bigger carbon footprint. While it's not directly a data curation issue, the sheer scale of the data we feed these models influences how big the models need to be and how long they take to train. So indirectly, our data choices do have an environmental ripple effect. It's another factor to keep in our minds as we develop these technologies. So as you can see, ethically curating data for LLMs is a massive, complex, but absolutely critical undertaking. It's not just a technical problem, it's an ethical one, a societal one. To get this right, we need everyone at the table: AI developers, ethicists, policymakers, and yes, the public. That's you and me. We need to develop strong, ethical AI frameworks, keep a close eye on how these LLMs are behaving through ongoing monitoring, and be really transparent about what they can and can't do. The goal here is to harness the incredible power of LLMs responsibly, making sure they truly benefit humanity while keeping potential harms in check. It's an ongoing journey, and it requires us to be vigilant and ready to adapt as these amazing technologies continue to evolve. Thanks for tuning in to GFunFacts Online. What are your thoughts on the ethics of AI data? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious.